Judge Orr, you filed a lawsuit as the executive director of a nonprofit that attempts to invalidate the lawsuit that created the state lottery, which has raised about $500 million for schools since 2006. If the lawsuit is successful, would you leave it alone, try to pass one legally, or veto a lottery bill passed by the legislature?
First of all, the Constitution was violated when the lottery was enacted. That's what the lawsuit's about. It's on its way being appealed to the state Supreme Court. I fundamentally believe, based upon my years as a judge, that the General Assembly simply didn't follow the rules. They intentionally didn't follow the rules, and that the lottery needs to be struck down. I understand it has raised money for public education. First of all, it is flawed public policy. It is simply not the way that the state of North Carolina should be funding public education. It is a tax on the poor, and it is, as one psychologist who spoke at a program that I attended said, the gaming industry knows more about addictive behavior than all of the psychologists and psychiatrists in the state put together. It's simply fundamentally wrong for the state of North Carolina to be coming up with clever ads trying to sucker people into playing scratch-off games and billing it as the education lottery. And I'm fundamentally, one thing I definitely wouldn't do, the executive director of the lottery makes $225,000, which is more than the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court makes by $100,000, and a whole lot more than the psychiatrist running these mental facilities that we have. It is, I'm out my 30 seconds. Do I get an extra 30 seconds to rebut myself? Or,
I'm not as kind as those Supreme Court justices. You're already down one in the Court of Appeals. I can't give you any more until you go over to the big boys.
I challenge everyone in this audience to go home and get on your computer and go to joinfred.com and read the speech that I made on the Senate floor against the lottery. I oppose the lottery with all my being. I believe it is wrong public policy. If you'll read that speech, you will see the reasons that I opposed it. They've come true. It's a tax on the poor. It's not good civil justice. I believe that the government to be in the gambling business is morally wrong. And number three, it is not an effective and efficient way for the government to collect tax funds. We only net about 25 cents on the dollar when all cost is figured in. If we need more money, let's get a dollar for a dollar. But after saying I'm against and would do everything possible to remove the lottery because of what it does, and if you want to see what it does, you go when the welfare checks come out down to your local 7-Eleven and see who's buying lottery tickets. So that being said, let's now move to we got it, what are we going to do with it? Because there have been a lot of untrue statements made up here on this stage about the lottery. Lottery funds are distributed 65 cents to every county. Every county gets lottery funds. It's the 35 cents that's discretionary, which was wrong. But we got to deal with facts. That's given to the high tax counties. We need to change that. I wish I had more time.
Okay, thank you, Senator. So do we. Mr. Kramer.
Yeah, just to pick up on what I said earlier, Western North Carolina is losing out on the lottery. I didn't think it was such a swift idea because it was oversold to you. And I'm sure a lot of you think that there's some kind of a magical, we're talking about trust, education trust. There is none. It's just sort of funneling money into the fund, general fund, and it just sort of goes out and goes to wherever it goes. There are proceeds that are not being used properly. The counties are suffering because of it, and Western North Carolina particularly suffers because you've made the good efforts to keep your property taxes down, and I don't think this was publicized enough at the General Assembly when the thing was rolled out. Yet another thing that Beverly Perdue broke the tie on, and I want everyone in Western North Carolina to hold her to it. When it comes, she is successful in the general election, don't you think I'm not going to hold her to it. She's got a lot to answer for, and so does the party on the other side. So there's a lot of cleanup that needs to be done with the lottery. We're the dog that caught the car, so we need to fix the problems that exist in the lottery, and it needs to establish an education trust once and for all.
Thank you. Mayor?
I agree with all three of my colleagues. I think enough's been said, and I think they've made some excellent points, and I don't disagree with any of their points.
Appreciate that.